Hi there. So I wanted to do a brief video on the subject of dummy rifle grenades for the Type 81 in the Canadian market. Now, when this thing first came out, I found out, of course, it's got a rocket launcher, grenade launcher up here for rifle grenades up on the front. However, as far as I could tell, there weren't any Canadian suppliers for dummy rifle grenades. However, there are several in the United States that sell them for something like 40 US a piece. However, they don't ship here. Now, I did check the regulations and they are legal. They just aren't currently an offering that anybody seems to have. And I can actually splice here into the footage some pictures of the stuff that they have offering from various sites in the States. In any case, so as I said, there are suppliers for these things in the US, but none in Canada insofar as I know. Dummy rifle grenades are legal. Dummy grenades or inert grenades are also legal. However, nobody seems to be supplying them at present. So, me being resourceful, I decided to do a little investigative research and see what I could come up with as a viable alternative. So what I came up with is this here. So you've got a 3/4 inch pipe with a little flat piece off of the end to basically hold it up for support purposes, and those are going to be designed and converted into fins at some point. Haven't gotten that far as yet. On the front, you have a screw-on end cap. Now, one thing that is worth mentioning... Oh, pardon me there. I wasn't expecting that to fall over. In either case, one thing that is worth mentioning, however, is that this front piece here, as far as I can tell when I measured it, is 7/8 diameter, which you could probably tell is more than 3/4. However, that measurement of 3/4 is an internal diameter measurement, not the external diameter of the pipe. The outside of the pipe is actually closer to 1 inch because it's relatively thick for a steel pipe. Well, at least in terms of what I have it needed to be used for. Now, as you can tell, this one did not go on, but it's pretty darn close. The alternative, then, was to take the inside, and as you can probably see from the machining marks there, you shave 1/8 of an inch off. So what I did is I got a 7/8 drill bit, and I hollowed that out, and sure enough, it works. And so therefore, yes indeed, you can fire dummy rifle grenades from the Type 81, even if you don't have any of your own that you can actually get from an official supplier. Now, my only concerns with this would be the thickness of the metal itself, and whether it has enough strength left in it to actually, well, not explode, obviously. You want it to be able to fire off the end unimpeded without any serious problems. At some point, I am going to do a follow-up video to this and actually test whether this works. Hopefully it will. Time will tell. In either case, as far as how you would get those to work, pardon me here, for adjusting the gas system setting itself, you'd simply go from, there we go. You would take it from 1 or 2 and shift it over to the center setting 0, which is basically de facto the rifle grenade setting. Now then, on the subject of things to do with it, once I actually get them working. So here's what I've come up with. Rifle-assisted lawn darts. So the way this would work, basically, is think about like a trap and skeet field, right? So you've got your trap house here, you've got your firing line here with all the guys strung up. You get the little thing that shoots the little, I don't know if you wouldn't call them birdies. I don't actually usually shoot trap and skeet, so I'm not super familiar with the terminology. But you've got your little thing in here that shoots them out at various different angles. Now, if you're shooting dummy rifle grenades from this line at a great big old target that's laid out kind of pretty far towards the backstop kind of area. And so you've got, and again, the exact scale on this map is probably way off as far as the diagram is concerned, but, so you've got like a 5-meter circle here as your bullseye, essentially. Then 5 meters out from that, and 10 meters from the dead center bullseye, you have another circle. And this could be just like a chalk line drawn on the ground, or like some kind of a spray paint or something like that. And the gist of it is basically, it's basically lawn darts, but with dummy rifle grenades. So I would take these and I would say spray paint this one like yellow and this one orange. Some bright primary color that's easy to identify and ensures that they won't get lost, and also that the results are easier to see from the firing line. Then what you would do, basically, is you would have people fire from each of these, and each would get 5 rounds, 5 dummy rifle grenades. And your objective would be to get all 5 in the dead center of the innermost circle. And so, on offhand, I wouldn't exactly know what the point scheme would be. If I had to say, maybe, I don't know, outermost circle 2 points, second from the outside would be like, I don't know, 3, and then 5 points for the innermost circle, something like that, and then 0 if you're outside of it. And you would basically do that. You would each go up and form up on the firing line, fire once from your position, and then you would take a break to reset, and you'd go retrieve your rounds, and you would go back in the next position over, and you'd repeat, and then you'd retrieve and repeat, and you would do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And then after that, the round would be done, and you would compare notes to see who won. At least that's how I envision this working. Now, as I said, in terms of name for this, I would call it rifle-assisted darts or rifle-assisted lawn darts. I mean, to be brutally honest, there's no lawn here, so if we cut the lawn part out, then we'd have, as a name for this sport, it would be called RAD, Rifle-Assisted Lawn Darts, which, sorry, no, I can't get the lawn out of it for some reason. Rifle-Assisted Darts, so RAD, which would be a pretty rad acronym, and yes, that was a horrible pun, but nonetheless. I don't know if this would be something that could work or not, but it's a cool idea. I mean, you'd shoot color-coded dummy rifle grenades at a designated target on a field or something of that nature. I mean, yeah, if you've got like an official trap and skeet range, you could play this pretty easily. If not, like even if you're just shooting off in like a farmer's field, and if you own a field and you just say, okay, it's the off season, there's no crops here, I'm gonna spray paint the thing on the ground and take a few shots and have some fun, it could be done, and I think it would actually be probably pretty popular, assuming that there's enough people with dummy rifle grenade launchers to actually play. And that's the real challenge here, I think, because in terms of things in the Canadian market that I know of that actually can fire rifle grenades or dummy grenades of some form, there's, of course, the Type 81 here. There is the Yugoslavian SKSs, and there's not a whole lot else, really, that I'm aware of. there might be some conversion kits for like M1 Garands or something, and maybe some older European rifles, but those are certainly not super common by any stretch of the imagination. However, again, big if these things work and don't inadvertently ruin my gun, which I'm kind of praying that they don't, we will see, then this should be a viable option. Failing that, this idea as a new sort of competition sport, it's still viable because, as I said, these are legal. They're completely 100% legal. I mean, literally all this is a pipe with an end cap on it and like a little stabilizer off the back. So there's no legal hindrance. The only problems that I can see are effectively just, one, the importation and provision of dummy rifle grenades, or the home manufacture of a viable substitute, and two, the provision and procurement of something that can actually launch them successfully. Now, again, that's a few big ifs there, but if that can be done, then my, we're in business and this will be a lot of fun. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm eager to hear your thoughts. So have a good evening. Thanks for joining us.